I snuggle up close to the shell I'm living in. And if I let you in, another round begins. No, I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side.
Should I be scared? The feeling's so different now. You got me floating here, a feather in the air. Oh, but when the wind blows, will I tumble or sail away? Or would you have me stay? And what if I escape? I know
I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side, by your side. I'm not afraid. We found something that'll never fade. We can be ourselves and figure out the rest along the way. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete with
Welcome, agents, to... Oh my gosh, I didn't have my thing up for whatever reason. Welcome, agents, to strain number 102 dash... why am I so caught unprepared?
DAR.
DAR, that's what I put?
Yeah.
That is what I put. Welcome to Stream 102-DAR of the 0 Point Report, the number one broadcast all about the news surrounding the Secret World IP. Today is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. And with me tonight, we have Two-Ton Waffle.
Howdy.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm okay. And we have Jimmy the Rabbit.
Heyo.
Hey. And I am Ocho, and welcome to the 0 Point Report. So, Jimmy, how is Dune?
I had some interesting things today. Some
Yeah?
server issues. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I've heard
Everything-
a little of
everything
that going
exploded.
on. Yeah.
That was entertaining. Other than that, it's been super fun. I don't know
As
what
a,
am I at today so far.
Say I played it during the beta weekend. Both you and Waffle were playing during. I think we could talk about that now because it's now released.
I think the NDA is kaput.
It's gone.
That's not true. Just FYI.
Well, right.
What
right,
is true is that you can say whether you were in it or not, and that is about the extent of what's been lifted. Just FYI. Like, you're not supposed to.
Well, you can't
talk
say about anything that
anything that was in it.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure some people are, because fucking people have been doing bullshit since before the launch, but
there is some like YouTubers I've caught on YouTube that were talking about what's been going on. Like, that's NDA? How is this possible?
yeah. So your first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
But basically now you can say you were in Fight Club, but you cannot discuss what happened in Fight Club, right?
That's fair.
That's
There's
what the new
shenanigans
thing.
and stuff and things.
Which is hard to be careful about. You know, it's pretty easy to be like, oh, well, it used to be like whatever, right? But like you're not. That's what you're not supposed to talk about. It's like, oh, this used to be
something that changed from what they had to what it is now in the game.
Yeah, like that. That would be that, for example, would be a no-no.
Right.
It'd be like saying
but we
the
can.
sandworms would pop out in Santa Claus outfits.
Right.
Till that got patched out.
I'm
But
gonna
hey,
fucking die in
Scratch.
this goddamn hellhole.
Hey, Scratch. Hey, Armored Scooter. How are you? Welcome.
Scooter, what are you talking about?
Are there daily login rewards in Dune also? That is a question. I'm guessing
I don't believe so.
right now not. Yeah.
No. You don't get daily login rewards because that's not a thing. No game has that.
Daily login reward. The reward is just playing the game.
Yeah. And the friends along the way.
I say, but the head start began today, June 5th, for Dune Awakening, a new Funcom game based on the Dune property. If you don't know it, go check it out. Not quite sure if you're watching us how you don't know about that already, but if you don't, go check out Dune Awakening. It's currently on sale on Steam for $49.99. Well, the base game is $49.99. You could still buy the other sets and
other
jump
tiers.
into the head start, which is currently going on. The head start.
They made this shit a lot harder. Let me tell you.
I thought you said you couldn't talk about that.
Then they made this harder than the beta weekend. I just did this on the beta weekend, the open beta weekend. Okay.
That's fair. I can see
And it
them.
was
I can
not-
see them cranking down. I can see them cranking down the beta weekend to be a lot easier.
I don't know if they cranked it down. I think they've clearly adjusted melee, right, since the debacle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the PvP debacle. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I'm not exactly sure about a debacle per se. What went on with that?
No, they had the two streamer teams.
Oh, right. Yes, the two streamer teams. I did know about that.
And then they were just straight up perma stun locking because the normal left click had like no stamina drain, and like once you were hit by it, like your stamina would be drained. So they were just like nonstop spamming someone into a corner.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So as you can imagine, that went over amazingly.
Mm-hmm. Because people love, if it's one thing players love, it's when they can't play the game and they're stun locked.
Yep. So yeah, melee has clearly gotten
A nerf.
not a nerf. No, I mean I guess if you consider not being able to perma stun lock and like a nerf, but like just like
yeah, I guess
like
it's a bit of a
revamp.
nerf. Yeah.
Like there's well, for one, your attacks take stamina. So that's the thing.
Okay.
But there's also like a stamina exhausted mechanic where you sort of can still kind of do some things, so you're not just like standing there stuck. Where you move, but you move with like an exhaustion mechanic or something basically.
That's true. That's true. Hey Zen, welcome Zen. How you doing? What do I mean? Still, it's a digital copy. Do they run out? No, I'm not talking about they run out of copies. I'm saying that the head start time will end in 5 days, so you still have time to get into the head start, which is currently going on, and you get that with the deluxe package at $70 or the ultimate package at $90. But the standard 50, which is still a decent price these days. The base game is at 50. Then you get in June 10th instead of June 5th. But no, it's supply and demand is not a thing and when it comes to digital. Of course not.
Digital goods. A false scarcity of digital copies that you can buy.
That's right. Didn't we try that with NFTs and everyone went, "No, thank you."
Oh, you can still buy them, but they're like pennies on the dollar.
Mhm. That's why I actually feel like I missed out to a certain extent, because at one point the local deli and gas station that we have by us was putting out NFTs, and I had like won one of them in something, and they were like, pick it up, buy whatever, and it was like, I looked into it and it's like, oh, I have to create an account at this really sketchy website, and I was like, no thank you, I'm good.
It's not worth it.
I could have owned an NFT of like a hoagie or something. I don't even know what it would have been.
Man, you could have been a millionaire.
Who knows? My Wawa hoagie NFT would have been the one that would have broke the bank.
Wawa has pizza?
Yes.
I hate that stupid ad.
It does. It's actually not too bad. I've had it. It's not bad.
Yeah, we got a Wawa down the street from us too. I haven't eaten there. I'm like,
No,
no.
we go to Wawa about like, obviously, but we're in Jersey, and Wawa was started in Pennsylvania, but Jersey was like, that is ours now. We have like nothing but, well, that's not true. About half of the state is basically covered in Wawas.
See that or Sheets.
I was like, a lot of Sheets in Pennsylvania too, but Wawa doesn't stretch out too far into Pennsylvania either. So that's where all the Sheets pick up. But Wawa in New Jersey is like it's like a religion. Because the only two real major convenience stores we have like 7-Elevens, but it's like Wawa and Quick Check. And like Quick Check stays to the north, Wawa stays to the south. 7-Elevens are spattered in between. But yeah, Wawa has pizza, that they do. But Wawa started with like some really good stuff. You could get like they had some really good hoagies when they first came out. Nowadays, nah, not really.
Their sub hoagie selection has gone downhill.
A little bit, yeah. And it's a sourcing issue. It's really what it comes down to. Are there a Twitch Drops campaign also? Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Being the first day of Dune Awakening, they have had there's been some server issues, some review bombings, a whole bunch of shenanigans that go with game launches these days. Dune Awakening is currently sitting at, what do we got?
I think it was mostly positive.
69,639 in game. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Peaked around 900,000 something, I think.
900,000 something.
Sorry, 90,000, not 900.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I was going to say that. Holy
I added
crap.
a zero there.
And that's a big drop off. It goes from like 900,000 to 69,000.
I was like, I'm off by a factor of 10. That's yeah.
No. Sorry. 90,000.
That's still very good.
93, 94.
It's
like
respectable.
Yeah.
I saw Scrib posted like it was like number 1 on Steam in a category. Forget which category.
Oh, no, it was number 2.
So, yeah.
It was just
He
below
posted it was
Delta
number
Rune.
one,
Because it was just below
Right.
Delta Rune.
but I think it got above it at some point.
Oh, did? Okay.
I'm pretty sure the picture he posted it was number one.
As currently I see it as number 12 overall. But there are some that you're just not going to touch. You're not going to touch Counter-Strike 2. You're not going to touch Dota. You're not going to touch
Well, I think it was
PUBG.
of a certain category, like new games or something like
Yeah,
that.
like new release.
what I mean?
Well, no, because it wouldn't be new release because that's the 10th.
No, I think it still is new release though. Right?
It is currently number
Like
1 in
in-
trending.
But
Maybe it was
the most
trending?
trending game for sure. I'm looking at steamdb.info, which shows that in a 24-hour peak, Dune Awakening has had 93,634.
There you go. That's the number I was talking about.
Yeah, for
This is a
releases,
few.
and you're right. Delta Rune is currently above it at a 24-hour peak of 112, but also at half the price. So I mean, that is still something.
Well,
It's the first time I've been hearing about Delta Rune, though.
top sellers, Dune is number 1.
Yep.
Yep.
Was that what it was? Maybe that he posted was top sellers.
Yeah, because I'm looking at top sellers right now because it's Dune, Delta Rune, and Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah, okay. I think that's probably what he posted. It's on Blue Sky. If you look on Blue Sky,
Yeah.
if you follow Scrib at all.
Mm-hmm. But yes, there was also a Twitch Drops campaign that has started that is going on until June 24th, so you do have time to get that. You can pick up the Observer set of construction foundations, walls, floors. Keep in mind that the streamer must have their account linked and drops turned on. The viewer just has to watch the streams and also link their account, which you can do.
Yeah,
Hey,
mine
Jimmy,
are
is
on,
that-
by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, is it, your phone vibrating?
Oh, sorry. Probably.
Yeah.
I
That's
forget
his.
I don't have push to talk.
That's his. That wasn't his phone.
Ah, you're hilarious.
I know. But congratulations to the whole Funcom team on the Dune Awakening launch. Can't wait to get in there and play. I just pre-bought the base game, so I've got until the 10th. So I'm not in there yet. Not in there yet. The zero spice
that's what she
report.
said.
That's right, because we wouldn't have spice. The looking for spice report. Maybe next report will happen there. Maybe. I'll have it. Who knows how far we'll have gotten by that point. But part of the right.
Doesn't matter how far you get. It's the journey.
That's true. That's true, because I know I'm just going to take my time. It's the same way I play every game, same way I played Secret World, same way I played everything else. It's like, I will, if you give me a zone and you say there are 100 things to find in this zone, I will find all 100 things before moving to the next zone. That is how I roll. I don't like skipping ahead. I like doing every little side quest, every little nook and cranny. I like getting that first before moving on. That's just how I play. That's how my brain works. But I mean, if you play Secret World that way,
leading, but I'll usually bounce around.
Yeah, you eventually get it 100%. It might take a while, but
oh yeah,
I'll do 100%, but like I'll go through the main stuff and then come back and fill. You know,
that's true. Yeah,
that's
I'm
usually...
like, I go in order. I go. Oh, this is like this side quest first. I'll even do all the side quests that I can find before I even do the main story. Like I'll be that. I'm that guy.
You sick son of a bitch.
But that's why I played Secret World, and I loved Secret World playing it that way. Like doing everything in Kingsmith before moving forward, doing everything in Savage Coast before moving on to Blue Mountain, doing everything in Blue Mountain before moving on. I loved playing it that way.
Yeah, it's nice to know you change the colors on every single like point of interest on the map.
Mm-hmm. Especially and that's why I looked at the Dune Awakening beta weekend, and I went in there and it's like, oh, so not only do you have a continuing story that pushes forward, you also have things on the map that I could tick off. Oh,
Really? You got me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that takes that part of my brain. That hits that part of my brain nicely. That it's like, yes, I could see myself putting a lot of time into this. Mm-hmm. But they also made, in an interesting twist, and this I found curious, they've also made private servers available for Dune Awakening.
Yeah.
Which you don't see in MMOs, really. Like, I can't think of another MMO that has private servers. Like, the only one I can think of is Conan Exiles, and that doesn't really, like, when you think of what an MMO is, Conan Exiles really doesn't fully fit into that necessarily.
They did drop the MMO part from Dune Awakening.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
what
like
are they calling it
title.
Now?
I don't know.
Multiple
But
play.
they specifically dropped MMO because it was confusing people.
Open world. Well, no,
Survival.
those tags are just tags that other people put. Open
survival world.
I mean, but let's face it though.
Boogaloo.
The term MMO has been.
It's not inappropriate. It's just like people have like a different expectation of some stuff.
Yeah, it reacts more in how people what they expect from it more than what a game actually is.
Yeah, because it's not like it doesn't have MMO aspects. It does. It's just,
Mm-hmm. It's just the structure is built slightly differently, but like
but it still doesn't have like raids and shit,
right?
For example,
they're like, oh, we're gonna have dungeons, we're gonna have raids, we're gonna have this, we're gonna have that. It's like, no, that's what people expect out of an MMO. This is gonna be slightly different. Whereas over time,
dungeons.
I mean, there are
testing stations are.
Yeah,
those are basically dungeons. But yeah, it's just missing a lot of what people would normally think of.
I mean, even Conan Exiles has dungeons, really, Yeah,
no, it does. I don't think I ever set foot in one, but it does.
I did. Not too long ago. Earlier this year, I got really into Conan Exiles, and I got into like the first dungeon, and it was pretty cool. Like, it was they had periodic bosses, and then a big end boss, and like any other dungeon, really.
Oh, it's just I was too busy building, like bridges and shit in Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
When I played it, like when I played it, it didn't really have that much of that content. I don't think. I think more of that came later, because I was playing it, early access.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly certain the big dungeon stuff came a bit later. I just never got. Not that it didn't look interesting.
Good question for probably Jimmy would know. JG9866.
JG, is there a best approach to getting 4-pip items and weapons? Trying to avoid Dark Agartha, as I've not finished any capstones yet.
The only way you make something 4-pip is with fragments from Dark Agartha.
Dark Agartha, yeah.
Like, that's where those fragments come from. So, like, they don't. You might get some from Anniversary, maybe. Like a one here or there, but like you need fragments. That said, oftentimes you can find them for sale on on the auction house, right?
It's true.
If you don't like Dark Agartha, you could and you're okay with occult defense scenarios, you could farm OD for domains and then straight up try either selling domains for marks to buy them, or straight up trading domains to people for fragments or imbuers.
Fragments,
like
in a way, are sort of like their own currency, really.
Yeah, well, I would say domains are like their own currency. Domains are like what I would consider at this point the backbone of what's left of the economy. Like those things do not drop in value because it's time, right? Like it's RNG and it's time. You could run 20 waves and not get one, right? But more importantly, you would have to run at least 20 waves usually of OD to get one. And to have a domain signet, you need 16. That's a lot of OD. So people they value not having to do that pretty highly. You know what I mean? So when I was playing the free-to-play E17 character, like how I bought all the weapon unlocks, which get pretty pricey, right? Like 150K mark or something. How I bought all the weapon unlocks was literally farming OD and selling domains, like because it's a staple. Might as well be like gold, like a gold Cougaran or something. You know? Here's my domain signet. So if you don't like Dark Agartha, do that.
It reminds me of if you know if anyone's played Guild Wars, the original Guild Wars, it was globs of ectoplasm. That was basically right. It's not the main currency, but it ends up being like the main traded player currency.
Yeah. Achievements like for 6 special agents
like
items yet? No, fuck that shit. It's like literally impossible. I'm pretty sure that shit's bugged. I think like 1 or 2 people in the entire history of the game have 1 or 2 items.
Yeah, they like if they added them, they made them so low of a drop.
They're technically there. Right? Like I think I know like I've known of like less than maybe like 3 people that have ever gotten a one of them. They're just someone moved a decimal point when they fucking did the drop rate on that shit.
Like, oh, it's only supposed to be 5 zeros. I put 8 zeros. Right, yeah, you say MMO equals gold sellers, rare resources, bot farmers, griefers, dungeon clearing sellers. MMOs become synonymous with players' exploitation. And that's true. You know, that is true because it's almost like the MMOs up to this point have been very formulaic in like what it has to have. And that's why I've distilled my own, because at this point, what you think of an MMO is basically how you personally have get to it, which is also why they've sort of been dropping the MMO name from things, because they're like, yeah, it creates expectations or it has ideas of what people have. It says, okay, well, we're going to work with this formula. But this game is obviously not sticking to that exact formula. It's going to be different. It's going to act a little differently. See, but my personal definition for what an MMO is basically it boils down to when playing the game as the developers intended, can you run across another player? Just in playing the game, can you run across another player? Not on purpose. I'll put it that way. A player who you may not know already.
Yes, you can.
And in Dune Awakening,
today.
you can. Yes. So to me, that's an MMO. Can you do it in Secret World? Yes, absolutely. We just had a whole bunch of people pass us by. In some games, it's you only see the other players when you go to like the main hubs, but you're still running into people that you don't know. But in like Conan Exiles, maybe if you joined a server, like joined a random server, you could run into people that way. But you could also play Conan Exiles in a way where you don't see anybody else. You don't join a server. You could just be you. In which case, you're never running into anybody. So that's where it's sort of like, that sort of straddles the line of maybe it can be, but it not really. But in Dune Awakening, they absolutely, you will run into other players. So to me, that's an MMO. But right, I could totally see where they would change it based on expectations that...
I think they kept having to explain like it is, but it doesn't have X, Y, or Z, and they're like, "Fuck it, it's not worth the effort."
Yeah, yeah. But I would say on their Steam page, under popular user defined tags, so these are not tags put by the game itself, they call it one of those tags is massively multiplayer. But in their description, they call it a multiplayer survival game on a massive scale.
I do think there's more RPG elements than people give it credit for necessarily. But you know, I think we'll see that more as it gets played more. You know what I mean? As people
Right.
make it further in the story of the game and stuff. By the way, 8.5 hours and all classes unlocked.
Nice. So you've already learned how to speedrun it.
I wouldn't even consider this speedrunning.
No, I mean, for day one, maybe?
No. There's definitely people going faster than me. I prioritize like getting trooper. There's like speedrunning people like have their bike and are across the gap in like 25 minutes.
That's
now,
true.
They may not be. They're not grabbing all the classes, right? They're speedrunning like to the deep desert.
Correct.
So I guess you could say maybe speedrunning to all classes, but even then, I probably was dicking around a little bit more than you would if you were actually speedrunning. I'd say I'm getting shit done. I made my tree fort, as I like to do. I got a base between two like cliff, two jutting spires, right? I got my base between them. Got the little ladder coming out at the bottom.
Scooter says that the special agent items only drop on February 30th every 4th year. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that, like a secret.
That's deep into coding.
Yeah, like you had to figure out through some puzzle somewhere that they only drop on a particular moon phase, or they only drop on a particular date or something, and it's just hard coded that I wouldn't be surprised. It also wouldn't make sense, but I also wouldn't be surprised.
It doesn't have to make sense.
They're like, they found the stuff for that Halloween event that one year. They found that guy too easily. So we're gonna make these really hard to find. Like, we put something in the game. Good luck, players. Good luck finding it. And then no one ever finds it ever.
I think I'm genuinely though. I just think they fucked up the drop rate on it.
Yeah.
And or it's also possible that the drop rate is technically okay, but they fucked up a different part. Or like it like that people are blocked from getting it.
Maybe, yeah.
So to explain what I mean by that was like Drenith had been doing E17 raid every week since like it came out, and like never got any of the outfit pieces ever, like multiple years, and like submitted reports, and finally someone actually like looked into it, and it wasn't just like, you gotta keep trying. Right? They actually
They're
looked
like,
into it, and,
oh no.
and there was a problem. Like there was a flag on his character or something. Like it somehow thought he had gotten the first piece, or something. So like it wasn't giving him the first piece, but if you don't actually have the first piece, it never gives you the other pieces because it drops in order. So like he was never gonna get it. No, Bomber, he was bugged. They looked into it. That's why he started getting it. They like fixed the issue and then he started getting the pieces. I remember talking to him about it like right around the time that it got like resolved, when he was on a little bit more, or at least all on the same time I was. But yeah, they finally, someone like took it seriously and looked at it and were like, oh, there's a problem. Which wouldn't be the first time, by the way. It's not like that's never happened. We had a similar issue in TSW with some of the first Nightmare Raid clears, where people that were in the first Nightmare Raid clears got bugged and could not get credit again, like ever, until the character was fixed. Like you'd go to do it the next week and it wouldn't give you give you credit or whatever. Like it would say, it would basically, you had people that did the first raid clear ever, and in the game it's like still showing you didn't complete the raid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like that has to be added manually at that point.
So it would not surprise me if there was also some kind of issue, not just the drop rate's fucky, but like somehow the criteria for it even showing up for you is potentially bugged, you know? On top of a shitty drop rate.
Could be.
So it just wouldn't surprise me. And the simple fact is, no one's gonna look at it. There's no point in trying to get those fucking things. It's not gonna happen.
Don't even bother. And them fixing it now, they could have, it's either gonna be, maybe they've looked into it and they're like, oh, this is gonna be a crazy fix, so let's just not do it.
I don't think anyone's been. The problem with that kind of thing, right, is from the technical side, you're very biased to say like, oh, it's just random, you just haven't got it yet. Right? There's very little incentive to actually like take someone whining about not having gotten something with it. Like, you're going to take it with a grain of salt because you're going to know like, oh, that super rare thing that they intended for you to take like a year plus to get, you didn't get yet. All right, well, you're probably not doing it enough. And unless someone actually digs in and you're like, no, man, I run my agents. You have someone like, probably like a Riffler or something that was like running their agents every goddamn day for years and never got it or something, right? If they bother to dig in that deep, maybe they think, oh, maybe there is something wrong. But the general like kickback, especially from first tier support, it's just going to be like, no, the programmer say it's just really low drop rate. It's RNG. Like, keep trying.
Because I'm sure they get complaints about other things dropping where it's like, oh, I should have got this drop. I should have got that drop. And they're like, yeah. Of course you should have. Right.
That's what I'm saying. But like when when you were on the side of like, well, think of it you can also think of it like the booster packs, right? That randomly drop the agents with the like the +% damage against certain monster types. There's a few of those that are only in boosters. Like you can't get them any other way than buying the booster packs. I think I might still be missing one. I don't remember if I got them all. I do remember like grinding the hell out of Dark Agartha to flip fragments for marks and then marks for Aurum and buying booster packs back in the day to try and farm and get all those agents. But those are completely RNG, and that is weighted to make you buy boosters. That's the whole point of that system, right? So someone complaining about not getting one of those is like, well, yeah, no shit. The whole goal is to get you to buy booster packs. If you got one every time you open a booster pack, you'd stop buying them. Or your goddamn peculiar box. Peculiar boxes, you just have to run the right content for.
So Jimmy's gotten plenty of those over time.
on plenty of different characters. It's mostly regionals. It's layers and regionals. If you do a shit ton of layers and regionals, you're gonna get one. They have a higher percentage drop from the blue boxes. You can
But
also
also
get it from
for
the dungeon blue box.
but also for them too, shouldn't like they only also drop after you have completed a certain certain
No,
content? Like,
the peculiar box will drop like I've had it drop on a new character on a run like super early. Like you just can't use it until you 100% the game.
oh, okay, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, you can get it ahead of time. In fact, people get confused because like, what is this and why can't I use it? And it's like, hey, buddy, you need to finish the entire game first. And they're like, damn it. So that's
He's
that's
got one on
definitely a
every
thing.
character except his main. Okay.
So you're doing what I do, which is not play your main, and you're busy playing other characters. You have to play your main.
hmm
131 days to get one from the exchange, a little more than 4 months. So there's an interesting thing about the exchange, which is that it doesn't exactly work how I thought it worked. You shut your mouth. My main is too precious to play. Dude, I'm telling you, I know exactly what you're.
Put it in a nice little box.
What you mean? Like
Put it on
your main
put it
is
on your
over
shelf.
here and is kind of done, and so you're playing everything else. Your main doesn't need to do fucking 6 hours of regionals. But if
That's
you
right.
did 6 hours of regionals on it, you fucking get a peculiar box. But yeah, so weirdly enough on you know how you put an order and you say I'm gonna sell this many marks for 300 like 300
300.
per,
Yeah.
right? But did you know that if you specify the amount and then someone buys for that amount, then they'll get your order first because it matches?
Oh. Okay. So it's not just whoever put in the order first. It's
Right,
basically
it actually fills on the amount. So like if everyone said 300, but you say 276 and then go on your other account and go get it for 276. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get
that
it.
it will transfer quicker.
Well, it could if you're making it happen. The point is you can kind of skip the line, if you will, by picking a specific number. Like let's say you wanted to trade to your own other alt or something, right? You wanted to move money around. You do it by cutting the line, by putting in a weird fucking number. You know?
Okay. So if you basically say like, "Oh, I want to purchase like 1911 or something," and you then go on the other one and say, "Well, I'm going to sell 1911." That'll be like, "Hey, these two match. Let me just do those two."
Well, no, not the amount, the price per. The price
Right.
per. So because the cap is 300, right? The cap
Okay.
is 300 per to 1. But if you put like, I don't know, 196 for some weird reason, and then you do an order for 190, so I think you would make the order for 196 first, and then you post yours for 196, and boom, you're gonna fill your own order. Right?
Okay.
Something like that. Like you skip the line. Because I always thought like, oh well, if someone says I'm willing to take less, that you would just give them more. Like the 300 would fill it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because wouldn't that make sense? If you're saying, oh, I'll give you one Aurum for 200, well, surely you would take 300 for it, right? That's you getting more. That's not how it works, apparently. This is a Let's Hack Secret World segment in the 0.4 brought by Pirates of the High Seas. I'm just saying, like, it's important to understand that if someone's putting their shit in for the max and like everyone routinely puts it in for 300 to 1 because that's where it is, that it doesn't mean there's not other money like moving through the exchange. Right? Because if everything's at 300 to 1, like why would you not put it at 300 to 1? No one would go under because you would assume that ones under 300 are not getting filled. Because who in their right mind is going to give you an Aurum for 250 instead of getting 300 for it, right?
Right. When 300, it's apparently the highest price going. That has the
and
most.
There's like
Aurum in
thousands and
reserve.
thousands of orders for 300 to 1. You're just assuming, why would I devalue my Aurum? Why would I take less for my Aurum? But you can do it intentionally. So I'm just saying, like, shit moves through the exchange, and if you're only at 300 to 1, you might end up on the slower end of it, you know?
Interesting.
That and like people, I'm pretty sure people pick weird numbers and just to like funnel, because when you're trying to funnel, you kind of don't care so much. Like, you're gonna take a loss just to make it move, right? You're gonna view that as a transactional fee.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, that's great, but I at least get to get most of this over to the other account. I don't believe there's any gold sellers left in Secret World. I'm pretty sure there's not.
I think they probably moved on a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think it's more like people moving stuff between their alt accounts or something, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been your Secret World Stock Exchange tips and tricks.
But a tip for Dune Awakening, a trick per se, is if you wanted to have your own server,
you can
do
pay
that.
money.
But looking into it, they're like, how do we make this work? How do you have a private server for what is essentially an open game? And so they put out a nice question, or they put out a nice statement about that, and they say we've previously communicated that private servers are for post-launch, but we're happy to share that progress has been faster than expected. We do, however, want to manage expectations about how private servers work in Dune Awakening, as you know, this is not your typical survival game. They say Dune Awakening is powered by a unique server and world structure, something we went to in depth in a recent blog post. In short, each server belongs to a world consisting of several other servers, and each of those share the same social hubs in Deep Desert. This allows us to retain a neighborhood-like feel to the Haga Basin and provide persistent free-form building and other server-demanding mechanics you typically see in survival games. We combine this with the large-scale multiplayer mechanics you would expect to find in MMOs, where hundreds of players meet each other in social hubs and the Deep Desert to engage in social activities, trade, conflict, and more. Naturally, transferring this setup to a private server model has not been trivial. We decided early on that we did not want to remove the large-scale multiplayer aspects of the game, as that is such a crucial part of the Dune Awakening experience, and the game's content and mechanics are deeply rooted in this setup. It was simply never an option for us to release half a game for private servers. We knew we had to come up with a solution that retained the fundamental MMO-like features that make Dune Awakening so unique, while still giving players some control, perhaps more importantly, over who has access to their server. That meant we had to make some concessions in terms of how much control players have over their private servers. The result is a model where you have fewer settings available to you than you would in some other survival games, such as Conan Exiles. We want to be completely clear and upfront about that so you can make an informed decision as to whether it's worth it for you and your friends to rent a private server. And so what they have basically shared, they had a little thing that basically says that Haga Basin basically will have the private servers, but the Deep Desert is shared, Harko Village is shared, Arakeen is shared. But so basically, it says how private servers work. When you rent a private server, you essentially rent a server containing one Haga Basin. You just get your own Haga Basin instance. Just like the official servers.
That's not right.
No?
It's not one.
I'm
pretty
reading
sure it's not one.
straight from their post here.
It says one.
It says one
So I don't think that's
Hagabasin,
right.
but it's probably like the one open area. It says just like the official servers. Here you have the full Hagabasin map, and you can do everything you would do on an official server. Your private server will belong to a world consisting of other private servers, and you could choose a world for your private server when you rent yours from a provider. That means that you will still be able to take full advantage of Dune Awakening's large-scale multiplayer content and mechanics, including visiting the social hubs and the deep desert to meet and play with people from other private servers in the same world. Players do not rent or control social hubs nor the deep desert. These are provided by the server hosting company, who ensures each private server's world has them. To rent a private server? I mean, that's sort of how private servers generally go. You rent them from either the company or the company providing them. So if you stop paying, you lose all progress and have to start again? Well, yeah.
Yeah, you don't rent a server unless you plan on keeping it.
Yeah. Unless you plan on paying for it and keeping it open for as long as you do. I mean, that's the way it's been in like Ark, Survival Evolved, and games like that where you rent servers.
Minecraft, V-Rising,
Minecraft, yeah.
Valheim, games like that have private servers.
That's what their post says. The private server gets you a private Hagabasin, but the other areas are shared with other private servers.
I definitely saw. Well, it could just be that someone rented multiple, I suppose.
I'll say, but yeah, you can't get your own private deep desert. No, you can't do that.
No. But there is a little more to it in the sense that so the private ones are only connected to the private server deep desert and hubs.
Right, because it's part of that world, and if you're part of that world, which the world just might be consisted of private servers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The private servers are their own world. You're not going to have a private server connected to like Funcom's official one.
No,
right?
It says your private server will belong to a world of other private servers. Yeah.
Right. But okay. I don't know if it's on that part, but the different vendors that are doing the private server renting, like when you rent your private server, you can choose different worlds for it to end up on. So, for example, G-Portal, you can have hardcore, PvPvE, roleplay, or free-for-all. There's like 4 different types of worlds, and there's different settings on those worlds, which are, in addition to that, which are sandstorms active or disabled, taxation active or disabled, security zones active or disabled. So, like, for example, hardcore is sandstorms active, taxation active, security zones disabled. Right, which is like which is PvP full. So everywhere. The hardcore, it's full PvP. Sandstorms and taxation are active, but security zones are disabled. So like your safe zones, like the trade post, are not safe zones. Right. The PvPvE is basically the same as Funcom. The roleplay has taxes disabled, and the free for all gives you as a server owner a free choice. You can activate or deactivate all 3 options in your Hagabasin, basically.
So yeah, they say that, and that's how it's changing. Is right. Private server settings, the settings that says which settings you can configure for your server is ultimately up to the third-party server provider. But these are the settings we are making available, and just that: security zones, taxation, sandstorms. So
well, I think hardcore. Sorry, to Schooner's point, hardcore I don't think is like the kind of hardcore where you're like, oh, I just lose my character permanently. I don't think it means that. I think it just means like full PvP loot. Like you drop everything when you get killed. I think you'll still respawn back at your base. Because it's not like Diablo 2 hardcore where like you play your character and it gets killed and then it's dead.
Right.
Forever. I don't know. It's not that.
To go deep desert on a hardcore character, I mean,
I'll do anything stupid at least
enough people
5 times. But
I was like, there are people that would do that.
You're talking to the person that deleted their Elden Ring Night Rain character 5 times at least, so they could get past the tutorial boss without dying. Because you can't go back and do it. Like you either like it's one of those like you're supposed to fail but you can beat it. So I just kept deleting the character and trying. So yes, I'm gonna do something stupid like full hardcore, and then I just make a new character and run my stupid face into it again.
I'll say, but also for Dune Awakening, your character, you're losing your stuff, but your stuff isn't your full progress. Your progress is also what your character can create, the stuff that you've learned, the skills that you have.
Yeah.
You don't lose that stuff. You just lose what you're carrying.
Which, could be like a full Duralunium set of armor and shit, right? Like,
if that's what you want to go out there and risk, yeah, that's it's risk versus reward.
I mean, you probably would have to. Like, the whole reason you're in deep desert is to get the super high end materials to make the really good armor and really good weapons. So if you lose a fight out there, you probably lost, some stuff. But the whole point of you being out there is to get the stuff to make that anyways. Right? So
I was like, so if you know how to make it, you could just, if you know where all that stuff is, because that's really not changing too much. If you already know where it is and how to get it and have the ability to make it, you can very just quickly go make it again.
Oh, no. It's changing every week.
Oh, not the deep desert. Yeah, the deep desert is changing.
But that's where, like, the high-end resources come from, is what I'm saying. So you won't know where... This is what I was trying to say, is, like, you won't know where that resource is the next... You know what I mean?
No, yeah, you won't know exactly where in the deep desert. But did I see where they mentioned that not the entire max area will be PvP?
There's a PvE strip at the beginning of Deep Desert.
A PvE Deep Desert, yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically like right at the wall. It's a really long strip. It's a big area. But as far as the Deep Desert's just ridiculously huge. It's kind of hard to comprehend. But it's like what was it? Like the Deep Desert PvE wall stretches like 21 kilometers or something like.
Yeah, they're like it's a
ridiculous.
Big portion of it. So if you wanted to go in the PvP zone, you could. But if you just wanted to stick in the PvE zone of the Deep Desert, there's still a lot there.
Well, I don't think the good materials are there. Like, but that's where you build your like forward pace, right? You build in the PvE strip. You build there, and then you run out and get shit, and you come back. But that building in the PvE, that's going to get destroyed every week with the storm reset.
Yeah, even that'll be destroyed.
Wipes the PvE. So what you do every week is you go to the PvE strip, you build your you have your main base in Haga Basin. You build your forward base on the PvE strip, and then during the week you're running out in Deep Desert and coming back to that forward base. At the end of the week, you pack up all your loot from that base and shuffle it back to for Haga Basin before it gets wiped.
I mean, that pretty much sounds exactly what they want you to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the cool part is going to be like to see the scout runs on day 1 of the week. Where like you just have a bunch of like really fast guys that probably aren't even interested in fighting. It's just who can get out there and like
who can get out there, find the stuff, and then sell what they found to
sharks, or give it to their guild or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but even this concept of having a game that they're not considering it an MMO, they're not calling it an MMO, but it is still at its heart still multiplayer enough where you're going to see a lot of people who you don't see. And then having private servers on top of that is still an interesting concept. I don't think I've ever seen them do that before.
Yeah.
Not Funcom and not like almost anybody else. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think it's because like a certain amount of the population is used to like you can have your own private servers for the other style of game. It's like it's mixing so many genres, right? That like that's kind of part of like so the expectation for like the server, like a Rust, like you can have your own private Rust servers, right?
Right.
I think. So like it's like that style game. So those people are expecting to be able to have private servers. Why the fuck can I have a private server?
Right. Me and my friends just want to rent a server and just play this game for a while. Why can't we do that? Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that tag on the game, there's that expectation, and then because of the MMO tag, there's this expectation. Because of this other tag, there's this expectation. So, it's
Like I
kind of
said, in my head, the only expectation I have when I hear MMOs anymore is just I will see another person.
A lot of people.
I will see people. That's really all it comes down to. Whether you're interacting with them, that's a whole other situation. Where you interact with them. Like I've been playing the latest Division 2 expansion, and you only see people in like the main hubs, and that's it. You don't see, like, unless you invite players around, you do not see them outside of just those main hubs. But you still run across those other players. It's still multiplayer. It's still, and then of course you have the hardcore people that's like, well, that's not an MMO. It's like, well, your definition is different than everyone else's definition, which is different than everyone else's definition. And so it is going to be what it is. But if every game was made exactly the same way and exactly as formulaic, it'd be a boring world. Having games like this that try new things, that try this, we're going to have, it's going to be an MMO, but it's going to be a survival game in an MMO. And so we're going to have all these instances, but you could still meet people here and you can meet people over here and you can still do this. Like, this is definitely an experiment. An experiment that they've obviously thought really long and hard about, of course, but it's still a structure that is not typical. It's not a structure that you see often, if at all, really.
I don't believe the servers will be modded. I don't think that's going to happen. Uh-oh, I failed to join server. Message broker error, login failed, V94. Well, fuck me. Yeah, there's not going to be modded servers because you have to rent the server, and those places are under like contract with Funcom, right? Like,
yeah.
Now that said, there'll be client side mods because you can mod Unreal Engine, but like you can't just get the game and like host your own private server on your hardware. And there's people bitching about that. But the reason that that's not going to happen, by the way, is this isn't their IP. They're licensed. They've licensed the Dune IP and have strict guardrails on what they're allowed to do with the IP. So they can't. If you were to like get your own server and mod it to where the Harkonnen are doing it with the Atreides or something in the front room, like that's gonna look bad. They're gonna have like a lawsuit on their hands. Mm-hmm. You can't be messing with their intellectual property.
I mean, this even says that it says to rent a server, all you need to do is visit one of the server providers, Gportal, Nitrado, and XRealm. And it says, please note that this service is managed by the hosting companies themselves. If you need any technical support or other assistance, you will need to contact them directly. Funcom does not set the prices for private server rental. So yeah, you're not even getting the private server from Funcom.
No, you're not getting it from them. But what I'm saying is those people are contracted with Funcom. Like they had to. That's why it's not just like, get it from 50 places, right? It's these
right. It's just these 3 places, yeah.
Sign the deals with Funcom to do this, and it's not gonna be okay with you modding the server end.
No.
But I believe front end mods are a thing. I think you can have Unreal Engine mods, like client side mods. I'm sure there'll be like tool. You know how like Secret World, right? Secret World
Mhm.
has mods, but not server side mods.
Right. They're all client side. They look
So you
for
won't be able to
they do
buy
like the
your
parsing.
server and mod yourself to become the worm god emperor of Dune. No.
Not in this game. Maybe in other games.
So maybe you make a client side mod that makes you visually look like that to yourself or something. I don't know.
I'll say they even say that they're you won't even hit, there's not even a what you call like in Conan Exiles you have like an admin control panel, and they're even right now they say like private servers right now do not have an admin control panel.
No, you just have those options.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Right?
just those
But
options
those options are like set by the company.
by the company that you buy them from. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll ask you like, okay, you're paying the money for this. What option do you want it to be? But that's about it.
To be fair, Conan didn't have an admin panel at launch either. Right. So I mean they could. They
Right, but
might have an
Conan
admin
was
panel.
running a single player instance on your machine, and that is vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
Vastly different.
I mean, that's the way I
Also,
play Conan Exiles. I play on my machine. I don't do anything with renting this or going on to the Funcom servers or anything like that. I just play right on my machine.
tried the Funcom ones, but like Jesus Christ, even like on low ping, like the fucking animals are bouncing around all over the place. It's pissing me off. Like, you're trying to like fight a hyena and like you can't. Like the hyena is like,
Those things are
I'm
pain
behind
enough
a
as
wall
is.
now.
Yeah.
I'm not behind a wall now. I'm like, motherfucker, what is this? Why do I feel like I'm playing PvP against someone in Australia or something? Like, you never had that issue? Dude, always had that issue. That's why it's like because I tried when I went back to try it again, like what, a year or two ago. I tried to do it on the official server and I was like, oh my god, I can't even fucking fight a dog on this shit. What about Endgame? You're either very rich or very drugged. I think you should be angling for both.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You should be
little
angling
column
for
A,
both.
little column B. Yeah, why not?
Um,
Those with the most spice are the most drugged anyway. Or do you mean Secret World? Because I feel like that could also apply.
I don't think we're rich in Secret World.
We're rich in marks of favor
Filth?
and arum and anima shards. My shards of anima floweth over.
Rich in honey.
What on your Conan Exiles server, we had to do so much back and forth back end work to get NPCs to function properly. We even had to F with their decisions per second and shit like that. I believe it. Hyde's pile of honey sticks. I mean, we're all getting, I assume, paid by our factions, essentially. We're just all tapping into the bank accounts of the factions.
They haven't given me shit.
KG
I don't think
does
the
say
dragon
she's
believe.
giving us crazy money.
I don't think the dragon believes in money.
No, they give you like, I don't even know. Here's like popsicle sticks.
I gave you a silent whisper. Be thankful.
So maybe it's just Illuminati then. Illuminati gets well paid. Our bank accounts
They're
are
probably just always like the checks in the mail, and you just fucking never get it.
be like you could just pay for anything you need. Just it can be taken away from you at the drop of a hat anyway.
Do you have to spend spice to support your faction? There's all kinds. No, the Lance Rat is like a bingo card. Oh my god, what just happened? The game is
Yep.
starting to get weird.
Oh yeah.
I got kicked before, and I'm back in, and now I got kicked back out again. You were disconnected from the server. 7C4. I love these error messages, by the way. Like, like they have a code, but I'm not sure what to do with said code.
That's
Like,
basically like tell a dev about this code.
network error. You were disconnected from the server. 7C4. Whatever the fuck that means. Thanks.
Don't you have to spend spice to support your faction in the Lands Red Council to gain
No.
advantage for the week? I mean, probably.
So it's like a wait.
The spice
Just
must
my
flow.
siege is gone. Awesome. Just my Haga Basin doesn't fucking exist now. That's really cool. The server is offline. Yeah, no shit, Palmer. It booted me off. The server not found. Yeah, I think so. You're bugged. You bugged a dev and he temp suspended you. You were talking about the SeaWorld exchange on a stream, so you banned your whole world.
you must not talk about Secret World Exchange. Do not mention it.
It does
The
make me
factions is
wonder
about-
though, like if you rented your private server, would you be having these problems? You think?
I mean, depends who the server's from. If it's from one of those other companies, it would have to be. You could have different problems. You could be up while everyone else is down.
Yeah, one of the errors today was now I don't even see the server. My server's not in the list anymore. Fuck.
Zenza, so you have host
You
your
don't
own
host
server?
your own server. No, you can rent.
No. You could rent
You
it
can
from
rent a server. There are 7 blocks of C4 planted on the server. Do not panic. That's my favorite one. Good job. What? There was an error earlier today that was like, can't connect to Funcom live services to get your character information. So I actually kind of wonder, even on the private ones, if they still have to connect to Funcom live services or not.
Probably. I would assume so.
I'm curious about that. Yeah, my world is gone, I think. Or yeah. Nope, I think it's back, maybe? The world is back but has no sieges right now. Ah, Jesus.
I would say, but they probably know. They're like, oh no, that one's down. Okay, scramble. Let's do what we can to get it back up. Get that siege back up now. I picture so I picture Spinosaur yelling.
I was in the Dune Discord when it was having problems earlier today, and like I saw Andy say something, and I was like, "Hi, Andy!" And then because he had put like a "This is fine," and I was like, "Hi, Andy," and then he replied back with like the Dragon Bunny fine emote that I made for the Secret World Discord.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the "This is fine" guy, but he's like green with bunny ears.
This is fine.
Anyways, I thought that was funny. Because they were like, they were freaking out.
Well, they're in. I would like to think that Funcom doesn't crunch much, but today probably they're crunching.
I'm sure everybody's on
Yeah.
hand. Yeah.
Not your standard day. Like everyone on deck, sleep at your desk. We will keep these servers open. People work on Saturday.
I was talking about that earlier today when the other issue was happening. Was like that shit is anyone that's been in this kind of in the tech kind of industry for any amount of time, like you do everything you can, and then you know that you're gonna have to like you put on your armor, you gird your loins, you're like something's gonna fuck up.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how much you double check or what you do. Like you do the best you can, but armed with the knowledge that you just have to be prepared to deal with the fucking inevitable shit show that's going to happen. And as long as you have that and you're ready for it, it's not that bad because you know it's coming, and you just you know you're ready to attack it when it does happen. I would totally start an hourglass factory on Dune to become rich quick. All that sand. That's funny.
So much sand.
Well, plus you can make the like glass is just sand, right? So you just.
That's right. Yeah. You just need to source whatever the top and bottom of it are, basically.
It's whatever random ornithopter trash you find on the ground.
Yeah, no, it'd be more made of metal probably than anything else. Or just make it all glass, right? Just glass the entire thing.
In which case, you just need a heat source. So you got a abundance of sun. Just some big magnifying glasses. Focus it down.
That's right.
Glass the entire Arrakis. It's just one big sheet of glass, guys.
Well, that'd take up a lot of family nukes or atomics.
If only they had kept in the book source atomic.
They did.
Which was no, they took it out.
Shield.
It's the laser.
Take it out.
When a laser hits a shield, it creates a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, they didn't take it out. They went around it in an interesting fashion, but they didn't technically take it out.
Is it basically just because you can't just use your laser gun to? You can only use it on
the las guns on Arrakis have a safety catch. If they're pointed at a shield, they don't fire.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, they're not saying that it doesn't happen. They're not saying that the interaction between the thing hitting the shield doesn't cause a nuke. That's not what they're saying. They're saying there's a piece of tech that prevents it from firing at a shield. That's how they got around it.
So if somebody has a shield, and you have a laser gun, it just won't fire at them.
It just won't fire at them.
Interesting.
Correct. That's the in-universe lore workaround. So in Dune, in this game, were a normal one able to fire at a shield, the normal reaction you would expect would still happen. Just doesn't happen.
Let's not do that.
Because it's been thousands of years, and they're like, no, that's dumb. All the equipment going to Arrakis is going to have this built-in failsafe, which is pretty. I'm gonna hand that one to Joel. That's a pretty interesting, creative way, to get around.
But I know they talked with the. I remember them talking with the whoever it is that owns the Dune IP, them talking with them about
that. They have to get their shit vetted by them.
Yeah, they're we're just not gonna have that. We're gonna change that.
But even like how they decided to change it, or like how they decided to explain it, had to be like vetted. Which again, that level of restriction on their licensing is another reason. Like that's the reason you're not getting your own fucking private modded server, right? Because they can't even do what they want. Why the fuck
Right.
would you think you get to?
Why would they allow just anyone to do it? Yeah.
Dude, as far as I'm concerned, all kinds of shit implies thinking machines. The entirety of Dune is like, we don't have thinking machines, except kinda we do.
Except when you make the thing in the corner that basically produces everything.
Like except
or even
when we
like
need it for something.
Right.
And then we just look the other way.
Like all of these spaceships. There's no computers in these spaceships. Why would there be computers there?
I think that's what the men. Well, no, wait. There's the mentats, and there's what are the? It's a you don't get to play that class, right? But it's a different. They mentioned them in the movie in the intro.
The Pilot Federation or something.
The navigators.
Or navigators, yeah.
Yeah,
they're the ones who are
fucking,
using all the spice, by the way.
Yeah, I said navigators, bomber. I got there fucking eventually. Goddamn.
But it's the the way they make it sound like in the books is they're like, in order to get safely from one place to another, it's the navigators that need the spice, because the spice gives you
they're
that
high on shit, like calcing like a billion like things.
Yeah, it's like it's the you could see slightly into the future, and by seeing slightly into the future, you could basically avoid all your obstacles to get to a place.
Yeah, it's the only way that shit works without a supercomputer or whatever.
Yeah, so they need the spice in order to make the spaceships go. And so the universe's economy basically all relies on worm poop.
That was in the 80s movie. It was the worm vomit. It was this navigator was just like vomiting spice.
You had navigators with a spice tube going directly into the brain with spice and brain juice leaking out. Oh, okay. In goes spice, out comes
non-essential liquid.
That's right.
You don't really need that. It's fine.
Nah, you're a navigator. You'll be all right.
That just makes me think of Flight of the Navigator.
Kind of. I get that. So, but yes, there's going to be a Twitch Drops campaign for Dune Awakening going from June 5th to June 24th. So you got time to
come by my stream.
Come watch Jimmy. But I think you said that you have to at least buy the game and log into the game first before your accounts are linked.
Yeah, something like that.
So if you just watch it now, you won't be. Oh no! Well, no. I'm sorry. You can still accrue it. The way that Twitch works is that you can. You just can't.
Yeah, you just can't collect it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't have the
sitting
game
on your
account, how are you going to collect it? Yeah. I have all kinds of drops like that because I'll be lurking in someone's stream when I go to bed, and they'll host someone that hosts someone that hosts someone playing some random game I've never heard of that has a drop campaign going on. I have all kinds of shit.
You come back and your inventory is like, you got 10 billion things, and you're like, oh crap, I don't want any of those.
I can't claim it if I wanted to. I don't have the game.
But in order to claim it, but also in this case, Jimmy is one of the ones that you can watch, because he's already in the game and unlocked it.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I claimed, connected to my account, all that stuff. I don't know where they are. I don't know where you actually get them. I haven't figured that part out yet. But to be fair, I've been too busy playing the game and haven't really spent any time looking at how you're supposed to get them.
Oh, what, the drops?
Like, well, I connected, I claimed them and all that, but I mean in the game to use.
Oh, in the game to use them. Oh, yeah.
Because they're decoratives. You know what I mean? Like if I want to use, because they're like ceiling pieces and like wall pieces and stuff.
Conan Exiles is kind of the same way. It's a little confusing as to where you go to actually like find the stuff that you get from the. It's in there. It's just.
Yeah, I'm sure I have it fucking somewhere.
Say, but going from news away from Dune. What? You completed your ephemeral run, your 0IP Dream Weapons run.
I did.
And you started speedruns.
Yep. 4 hours to Blue Mountain. Feels like
okay. Pretty
good so far. Lots of experimenting with the mod with Fox. You know, because like at first I would do part of the run and I came back the next day and all of a sudden the timer said like 2,000 some odd minutes. I was like, I can't keep running after I close the game. That's not okay.
Be like, that's it's a different kind of speed run. That's a real how long it takes you in real life to do it. Not just all in one session, but just from when you start to, you know, when you actually get around to it, sleeping and everything.
Oh, you were poking. I'm gonna die. You were poking.
Oh, Barmy said there's a deadline to collecting it. Oh, the Twitch drops, June 24th, near the end of the month.
I should look up on a different tab, like Twitch drops. Twitch drops.
So, but I would say, what did you learn from the ephemeral run? What new insights did you gain from the ephemeral run, if any? Did you gain any this time, or was it pretty much just the same as like your other 1IP run, just with even worse equipment?
I honestly feel like it was better somehow.
Okay.
Maybe I just know what I'm doing more.
That's true. You've learned from everything.
I do remember a specific turning point where I was like, oh, duh. I should be sword dashing and then Supreme Harmony, not the other way around. And I was like, that's significantly different. But yeah, I think because I remember doing 1IP Man was like during the anniversary, and I was running anniversary stuff to like unlock capstones and passives and shit, right? Like I was hardcore grinding before I even started running, and I still felt like this was easier, which is weird. I still felt like this was easier, and I didn't do that with this one. This one I just 100%ed. Maybe I didn't do that with 1IP Man. Maybe I just, but that wouldn't make any sense. No, I had to because I did Tin Commander. So I did one. I don't know how. The only thing I'll say is I think on 1IP Man I was doing like hammer and maybe later assault rifle, and on this one I did sword. It's like sword Ellie.
So different weapons basically.
And sword is super like self survival. Like it just is. like fights might take a while, but unless I drastically overpulled, like I wasn't dying. And because sword dash, you can like double expose, because if you have like the dash and then dash again. So like, and once I stopped doing Supreme Harmony first, so you dash dash double expose, now Supreme Harmony, like 10 seconds of like buff damage on an exposed target. Like the fights weren't even like that crazy long. So there was a couple things that happened. Oh, the really interesting one. Have we had a show since I started that run?
No, I don't think so.
I think that one of the more interesting things that happened to me was in Castle, where the camera flew off the wall and over to me.
I think I saw your clip on that. I think you posted that clip on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
I saw that clip.
17,000, like I think almost 800 hours now. I had never seen that fucking shit happen before.
The camera literally I'm gonna find that.
My guess as to what happened is, what's supposed to happen when the alarm goes in is vampires rush in and cart you off.
Okay.
And I thought I should have got hit by the alarm anyways. I was behind the bookcase, but it was like I was kind of like jiggling up and down, so it kept like catching me and then not. And so the alarm went off, but no vampires came in. And after no vampires came in, the camera decided, fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself. Flew down off the wall over to me, and then stood there because it can't drag me off to the prison cell.
Mm-hmm.
And then just reset back and just went whoop, back up to the wall. And I was like, what?
It just did it on its own. Yep.
This show is announcing both the start and finish of the Ephemeral Weapon run in the same show. It's because it happened spacing the last show and now. Probably. That sounds right.
Quite possibly. That's
Yeah,
that's to your YouTube short of the of the camera deciding.
Yeah, that was something else. I did use a couple of the other weapons. I used the shotgun so I could climb ladders.
Okay.
I think I used something else. But I basically did the whole thing sort of Ellie. Unfortunately, never got a peculiar box. So I can't do Tank Commander. But if I got one, I could do Tank Commander on it, theoretically.
So the last episode we talked about your completion of the Desolation Jones pacifist playthrough. And
no, wait. That was our last one?
And you were currently going through your 0-point pat run.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think the ephemeral happened like literally the day after 0-point pat.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna start doing the speedrun stuff, but they gave me the ephemeral weapons like that night of when the other one ended. I was like, oh, let me make a character real quick then. And then just started doing that.
Jimmy was so worrying that night on stream too.
Well, I don't think I worried anyone else except Bummer.
He suddenly got all quiet. Like, sorry, I got to end stream. I got a message. Gotta go.
Yeah, I got a message being like, "Hey, don't
like
run off.
Hurricane coming through or something.
I can give you the ephemeral weapons. Just let me know." I'm like, "Okay, hold on. Got to end stream. Got to go make a character."
Yeah. Hold on. Let me make a character for you to put it on.
Make a character, get through the tutorial, get into Agartha to meet them. Like I was like up for another like 45 minutes or something. you know, to get that done. And then like once I did all that and got them, like I wasn't gonna fucking run the character the next day. I wasn't gonna sit on that. You know what I mean? It's like, no, of course the run started the next day. But I am having fun with the speedrun part. Like it's exercising, it's like a different muscle.
Yeah, because speedrunning is just a whole different way of play. It's like the complete opposite of how I play, basically.
Well, like when I 100 like okay on the ephemeral like 100%ed, I watched all the cinematics. I read everything. You know what I mean? Like I read everything out loud on stream in the game. I think I might not have read side missions, maybe.
Or like all three. Well, it depends if the side mission is like the basic turn in or something, you know, the generic turn in.
Yeah. But yeah, I basically like did the whole shebang on that one. So the speedrun is like skip everything. go. It's a like no cinematics, no nothing. Like the entire stream I'm just going. Right? So it's a different thing altogether. Which is fun because it's a change of pace. And I think it would have been a little much to do the same kind of run like again, like back to back. Like honestly, I probably would have just been like, you know what? I'm gonna just get the no words mod going again and 100% that. Which I still could do because I think I only any percented the no birds run. So I could go find all that mod stuff and log that character back in and like 100%
and do everything else.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did with like the guitar run, right? Like I any percented on a guitar, and then later I came back and 100%ed. So there's a couple of runs that I could do that with, where it's like I have to go dig out the mods and all the directions from Fox on how to set it up, because some of those are pretty involved. Like the no words one, I think involves like. I think there's some custom assets or something.
Okay.
Well, because there's missions in the game that have like pictures that come up with words on them, and he like replace those with versions that don't have words on them.
Okay. Try to speedrun from character creation to wings. I guess it's more,
that's
what do you
not that much different than a full. I mean, that's basically just
like what are you considering the end point? Is it basically the end of the main story that we have so far?
Yeah, all my runs that are like any percent runs, you end when South Africa where it says you've completed the story.
Yeah, congratulations.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah,
the game is literally telling you you've completed it at that point, right?
Yeah, so it's a little past wings at that point.
Yeah, but it's really only South Africa. Like, like wings is the end of the town. Like that's the end of Tokyo content,
right? So
the only thing past that is South Africa, which realistically, even if you're like 100% in South Africa, that's like 4 hours. It's not that hard to like 100% in South Africa. I basically always do that in like one stream. Man, I got myself goddamn fell off into the Hagar Rift. God damn it.
But I like what you're saying is what you're saying about currently how Dune Awakening is now compared to the beta weekend that they had is you're like they made it harder. It is
yeah,
it is
legitimately. The enemies I think are a bit harder, and the stamina, just the fact that like you can't left click spam because you lose stamina. That means like you used to be able to left click spam, no stamina loss, and then dash out, and the dash would eat a bunch of stamina, right? But now you're draining stamina attacking, and then you go to dash out, and you're like, oh fuck.
Like I've got nothing
But
left.
you do have like a winded thing where you're like kind of exhausted but can still sort of move. But tonight, dude, I have never gotten stuck in those stupid no gravity grenades as much as I did tonight. Holy shit, that was annoying. just stuck there in midair while they just shoot me nonstop. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
You're like, well, okay then. Well, in other Secret World news, we found that I was looking through the forums just to try to see if there was anything there, and Weekly Shambhala is back. Malkashar has posted, they say, for the first time since more than a year, the white snow of Shambhala will be tainted a red and the howling wind will bear the music of the rifle shoots. I mean, they posted this a while ago, to be fair. But they said once per week at 2200 Universal Time, the Shambhala instance will be hosted for 1 hour for the pleasure of all PvP fans, casual players, PK strategists, genuine violence lovers. You're all welcome to the Himalayan Temple Arena. You can also join the Discord channel for more information. Join the newly made PvP community and battle vocal. And they have posted their Discord link to join the Discord for it. And why I'm saying this today, as opposed to from all that time ago, is that it is still going. And they say their community is growing, and we are enough to launch a new session. Their last one was June 1st. So
that's cool.
So they have been going. They have been continuing it up. And the last one was only just a couple of days ago. Shambhala is a simulation, though. You don't fight in the actual Shambhala in universe. I mean, I would say, wait, do we know that?
Maybe you don't.
Yeah, maybe I do. Who knows?
I do it in the faction mission.
Is it you tell me the faction mission isn't taking us to real Shambhala?
Well, the faction mission is, but the
that's right. That
PvP,
maybe is. Yeah.
The PvP one is a scenario, technically.
So
that's
yeah,
kind of
that is still going on. It's still relatively current.
Yeah, the Rogue Agent mission is the real Shambhala. Will the real Shambhala please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.
So I found that interesting that is still going on. Otherwise, there was flyers. Someone posted that fresh flyers have showed up in Eldwick, talking about Smile Theory Studios invite you to a night of laughter, suspicion, and impeccably polite accusations, a live-action mystery experience inspired by the classic game of Clue. And so on May 23rd, they basically took people to sign up for it. So our cast of intrepid investigators included Ezra as Mr. Green, Jeremy Ward as Colonel Mustard, Lyra Resin as Ms. Scarlick, Sia St. Pierre as Ms. Peacock, and Klaus von Richter as Professor Plum. And it said, thank you to all of our players for bringing these characters to life. You all got together in what appears to be the Franklin Mansion and had a good time. Had a good time playing. Vomer, who won? Who did it? Who was the murderer? Did one of you have flames on the side of your face?
Flames
on the side of my face. It's one of the best lines ever.
That's something my wife says like all the time. That's funny.
It's so good. So who won? Who won? Who did it?
Tell us.
So it doesn't really say much more than that. It doesn't say any who won. It has a few photos from the event, but it doesn't say who won. Vomer was the big winner. Klaus was the big winner. Did you murder? Were you the murderer? Oh, and oh, right. Okay. Oh, no, it does say that. Special congratulations to Klaus, who, in the role of Professor Bone, cracked the case and exposed the killer. But who was it?
Who was the killer?
Who was the killer? This is Clue we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't care who won. I want to know who killed. Who was the killer?
Who killed? Well, Mr. Body was killed. Mrs. White did the evil deed in the library with the rope, where their victim wasn't looking, too enthralled in their books. Nice. There we go. Excellent. That's why the movie Clue is so big today. That's one of those fascinating wormholes to go down, is why the movie Clue is so big today. But when it launched, it basically bombed, and that was because they were like, "We're going to try this thing where every movie theater is going to get a different ending," and so you went and saw it, and your ending was terrible, and you're like, "Okay, it just ended. That wasn't great." And then someone else would see it, and they were like, "Oh no, my ending was no." This is how they did in the movie theater. And so,
oh yeah, that explains it.
And so when someone else would see the movie, but their ending was different, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's it was based on which movie theater got which version was how it ended." Except when you had the ending that it has now, when you watch it, and it has all the endings, it's so much better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can see why you might be pissy. But the way they have it now is hilarious. The whole thing that's funny is the multiple endings. That's what makes the multiple endings
that makes the movie right. If they just had released the movie with all the endings, it probably would have been phenomenal in the theaters themselves.
Yeah, that was their mistake.
But so that's why today it's like, oh my gosh, it's such a great movie. But at the time, people were like, no, this sucks.
Yeah, because they didn't do the thing that makes it work.
Exactly. They didn't do and I think most of them didn't have where Tim Curry's running around like crazy. They didn't actually have the part of that. And it's why? How could you? It's so iconic.
That's the whole...
How could you? Yeah.
The whole thing is what is but what if it happened this way? And they're doing it all again. You're like, that's the funny part. That's the whole thing culminates in that. So if it didn't culminate in that, I understand why it wasn't done.
Yeah, so it's maybe only a third of movie theaters got the real ending or the final big ending, and everyone else just got the other endings, and it's no, that's terrible. That's terrible. Why would you do that?
That's you're watching a twist movie, but they just decide not to put the twist at the end.
Yeah.
They just cut it early, They're no, you have to do the twist part. That's what makes it work.
I was Cricket.
Those movies where it ends. Those movies that end, and then the thing that you see, they feel flashbacks, and it's oh, this meant this, and this meant that, and this, right? They re-show sequences of the film in this new light, and you're like, oh my god! If you just don't show that part, it sucks.
It sucks, yeah. Oh, you did. The Smile Theory Studios is you. Okay, that makes more sense. Good. I was I don't see one of the names here as Cricket, but then I don't know everyone's in-game names as opposed to I know Vomer's. I know Vomer's in-game name. That one I recognize well.
And
you say you'll be playing another game soon, TM? Very nice. Well, let us know. But I saw that, thought it was cool, thought we should mention it. Clue, Secret World Clue. The other stuff we have is Star Anvil Studios has announced that the Secret World North America, if you weren't part of the Kickstarter, has come to pre-orders. You could pre-order the Secret World North America through, I guess, this link through BackerKit is what they have put it on. You can go ahead and pre-order the Secret World North America. It says a sea witch rises from the water. What will follow next? Pre-orders are open for the Secret World North America now.
Sweet.
So if you didn't jump in on that, you can do so there. On top of that, Conan Exiles, speaking of Conan Exiles, has gone ahead and celebrated their 7th anniversary. That was in the beginning of May. It said May 8th marks 7 years since they first took your family and your riches and left you to die in the exiled lands. From the early days of your first sandstone hovel to the sprawling strongholds of today, surviving, building, and dominating with you has been an incredible journey. We're still hard at work improving stability and fixing bugs for the next release, but we wanted to take a moment to celebrate the occasion with a few things. There were Twitch drops of furniture pieces. That was really easy Twitch drops. All you had to do was just watch for just 1 hour and you got everything.
Oh, wow.
But it was just 5 pieces of a furniture set though too. So it's not like everything. They had a social media campaign. It said join the hashtag 7 years exiled hashtag across social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and now finally Blue Sky. And let's see some before and after screenshots or clips from when you first set foot in the exiled lands and compare it to today. And then also they said, keep your eyes peeled for a special item code you can redeem in-game for some free goodies, the golden pickaxe, illusion scroll bundles, and the fake death emote. But it won't last long, so keep your eyes peeled, Exiles. Which means they basically just had the post up for a little bit of time and then just took it down. So I did not get that because I did not see that one, but that's okay. That happens. It happens sometimes. So here's to 7 brutal, glorious years, Exiles, and to many more, the Conan Exiles team. It happens. It happens. But speaking of codes, be sure, don't forget to enter the code Wake the Sleeper, Wake-the-Sleeper, all capital letters. That came with the character creator. When you created a character, it gave you that code. You get a frame blade for doing so. So if you're going to play Dune, I almost said Dune Exiles, Dune Awakening, don't forget the code. You could get the code and get yourself a frame blade. And everyone has the same code. So even if you didn't do the character creator, just do it anyway. Just do it. You get something nice. I can't enter Dune Awakening codes yet because it doesn't let you log into the website until you own the game. And not only own the game, but log into the game. I found that out today. I tried logging in, and it was like, nah, you gotta log into the game first.
Maybe I did log in to like do the thing to link my Twitch account properly. I wonder if I'd have to go back in it, though,
that's what we
to,
can't do yet.
See the drops or something. You know what I mean?
But I think I saw on, was it Reddit? Someone had, let me try to find that again, where someone had the link because someone found it to where you go and enter the code. Going down, I was like, wait, that's not, it was a No Man's Sky. Well, I don't see it now. Gosh darn it. The game is ticking so many boxes for me. Yeah. That's what I was talking about when it's like, oh, you give me a map and stuff to actually do, like little things to do it on that map, and then a story on top of that. Be like, yep, you got me. You got me. That's what I love. That's what I like to see.
I like climbing. You can climb a lot in this game.
I was saying, is climbing the same as it was in the beta weekend, or did they make that harder too?
I think it's the same.
It's the same. I figured that'd be the same
But
because that used the stamina.
Yeah. But you can adjust that though. You get planetologist. You can get unlock abilities that like what is it? For example, you're better at finding handholds and footholds while climbing, reducing your stamina drain. And that's got 3 levels of that skill. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then you could be like a goddamn mountain goat. But I like using like the planetologist dispenser pad that launches you in the air, and then at the top of that you fire the sugar wire cable as far as possible, and you can just like leapfrog up places.
Just go for
You got
days.
Suspensor belt, so you don't take fall damage. I don't have like the higher one yet. There's other ones you get where you actually like will just sit there and hover in the air, which that's just straight up cheating. You know what I mean? At that point, you sugar wire up and then just float, and then just sugar wire up and then just float. That's like swimming with the floaties on, like literally.
See, what I want to know is why it was getting review bombed. That I couldn't figure out.
Oh, I don't know. People are assholes, probably.
I
mean,
pretty much
that's the reason I'm thinking, but yeah, but it started as mostly negative, and it's like
I think mostly because any new game is going to have, let's review bomb it.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like, I haven't been able to see any
No.
real reasons why people would be angry at it.
A lot of negative comments on Steam about the game forcing PvP. I think it's just people like review bombing like without even knowing what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a giant fan of forced PvP either, to be fair, but if it's anything like the other games they have, it's sort of like that would be after the story. It would be, it's going to be in the deep desert, and like I wouldn't call that forced. That's like the end game, relatively. Like that's the end game is going to be the big survivable PvP. That's where, so instead of having an end game that has where it shifts to raids and group content and all this stuff, instead they're just like, well, the end game is going to be a big, PvP front. Like, to me, that's not, I mean, it's different, but it's certainly not that bad. It's not like, it's gonna be, if it was like, oh, this is full PvP from the start, I'd be like, okay, that could be a problem. But it's not full PvP from the start. It's only PvP in the big final zone.
Yeah, I don't know, man. People are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, if you've ever seen Albion Online, have you ever heard of Albion Online? That is a game that is basically, it's sort of European medieval coded, and swords and spells and this and that, and it's basically collecting resources, building making yourself some equipment, using the equipment, getting skills, doing this, and it's got a whole skill lines, and it's got whatever, and then they put all the the best materials they put into in this PvP space in the middle, and that's where you get all the stuff, and it's a very popular game. I wouldn't call it, well, maybe not extremely popular, but it's one of those like secretly popular games. It always seems to necessarily be up there. Like, in a 24-hour peak, they've had, just in the past 24 hours, they've had 11,500 players. That's pretty good.
No, sorry. If it doesn't have millions, it's a dead game. That's
right.
The new rule.
Yeah, that's the bar. And it's got to sustain that for years.
But Albion Online has been consistently doing that. And it came out in 2018 is when it released. So this is a 7-year-old game, Albion Online, and it still has peak of 11,000 players at peak per day. And it's like, how do they do it? Because that's their formula. Their formula is basically like any other MMO. You've got all the stuff, you got the story, you got this, and then at the end you have PvP instead of raiding.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cricket said I learned the Bindu Sprint skill is hella useful for outrunning worms. Yeah, Bindu Sprint is super. I mean, that's why I started Benny Jesuit. Because, for one, the trainer is fucking far off in the world. Like, basically you shouldn't ever start Trooper, because Trooper is the first fucking guy you meet, and his whole quest line is in the initial starting area. So why would you ever start as that class? Start as anything else and then pick up Trooper. But the Benny one's super fucking far away. I think it actually might be the farthest. And then, like, second farthest, I think, is Swordmaster. Yeah, they're like the I think it's like, what, Trooper, and then I keep blanking on what the classes are. Well, obviously Planetologist and Trooper are in the first area. So those two you probably shouldn't start as, because like they're dead easy and they're like right in the starting area. And the other three are later.
Well, from what I thought, you couldn't even start as a Planetologist if you wanted to.
Maybe you can't. I don't remember.
I think that one you have to find, basically.
Oh. I mean, you find it in like fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It's not, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that's not a character creation. Yeah, and it shouldn't be. But because its class is like literally all supportive. Like you would have no like offensive capability. I mean, there's no problem beelining for it. I like the suspensor pad. If nothing else, I like having that jump boost. And I get it, because it's like right there. Like, why wouldn't you just add the class and have it? I don't think I'd spec a lot of points into it necessarily, but I mean, I'd at least get the pad. And I'd rather have the option, right? It doesn't make sense to just limit yourself for no reason. But also, like, the sprint and the voice thing, where you can like just say, you're like, get over here, and you just walk over and stand there while you stab them in the face. Like, that's pretty cool. Pretty useful. Also, it's useful when you have like multiple opponents, because you can voice one of them and then attack the other one while the first one just stands there, like, essentially stunned. And then yeah, the sprint. Sprint is just badass. Also, the sprint, by the way, has 3 levels. It gets more badass.
It gets more sprinty. That's for the people who, as you were mentioning, at Endgame are going to want to go into the deep desert after it starts and basically outrun the sandworms, I guess, to find everything.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you technically outrun sandworms, but you basically just you can close bigger gaps between rocks before. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's really what it is. Sandworm will eventually get you. You'll never win a race with the sandworm. Right? You're not gonna both start at the rock wall and go, and you're not gonna win that. But you can beat it from point A to point B.
These guys zigzag.
Become worm.
Okay. I will say,
If I turned
I think
into a worm,
I was trying to die to the worm and running in weird circles, and I'm pretty sure I just confused the fuck out of its AI. And it just didn't get me for an absurdly long amount of time.
it was like, wait, you want to be caught? What?
I was just
How does that work?
I was like running tight little circles, and it like surfaced, and then like it just went away. I was like, rude.
It's a
like,
new
I'm done
psychology.
Not
playing
good enough
with
for
you.
you. You're like, what the shit?
Well, I told you that's how I ended the beta weekend. Was
same.
I was like I'm just gonna go just get eaten by the sandworm, see what happens. And so I went out into the middle of the whatever, but it was like in the starting area, so it took its time. It really like, you know, you heard it so far away and it came out and then it very slowly went
And the end
under.
of the open beta weekend, I just did a knee charge down one's throat. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I can see that. Yeah, it's taking a while to get eaten by the sandworm. It's the beginning area. They didn't want everyone eaten by sandworms.
What's really funny is when you make the new character, right? And you crash land, and then it's like, run. And then I just stand there. I got up on top of this morning. I got up on top of the ornithopter. I'm jumping up and down for like 2 minutes. Never fucking like it's scripted. It doesn't come until you run away.
No.
I genuinely wanted it to just be like,
yeah. To be like, it got me. But yeah, so I was trying to get eaten, and it took a while to get eaten. But once it finally did, it was like it ate me. The screen went to black, and then it just never came back up. And I was like, well,
oh yeah, that's right. Yours like bugged or something.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's appropriate. Okay, I'll just stop there. Yeah, your screen was stuck black too. Yeah, it was just like, well, you were eaten by the sandworm. Okay, well, you're done. I was like, well, that's fair, because I was pretty much done anyway. But you were saying that, yeah, speaking of upcoming, get your Sweetling Hearts ready for Secret World Legends Anniversary coming up later this month. That's right. Secret World launched on June 23rd. Secret World Legends. I want to specify that. Launched on June 23rd. So the anniversary event will be upcoming. It'll be Secret World Legends is, let's see.
8, right?
8, yeah. 8th anniversary.
Probably second without a t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most likely that's a good guess.
Did we talk about that last show? Like the other things we could wear that had an 8 on them or something?
Yeah, we tried doing all different combinations.
Things that maybe looked like it had an 8. Of course, Armored says, you sure we'll have the anniversary event? We still have the winter cache. I thought they changed. I thought we had a different cache. Did we have the future tech for a while, or did they already take that away?
I don't know what we have right now. We might have the winter right now, actually.
It might still be winter.
Yeah. It tends to be winter for a while. That's fairly normal, though.
Well, they've got until the solstice. Because then it won't be winter. Then it won't be. It'll be summer. And having the winter cache in summer. You have hundreds of them. I think I just have 100. I know I have a stack. I still pride myself on having a stack of every cache. I don't know why. But in this game and Star Trek Online, that's the only other one where I just collect the caches and I just throw them, like a stack of them, into the bank. Will I ever use them? No. I just have them. I've been selling them by the hundreds and I still have hundreds. Just get rid of them. But yes, anniversary is coming up later this month. Let's see, when was it last year? Last year, the anniversary was on the 24th. And the year before was on the 24th. And the year before was on the 24th. And the year before was on the 25th. So unless we have a large departure, I would say either the 24th or the 25th. But we'll see. But then it actually probably won't start then. The logins will probably start the next day or something.
Or 2.
Because they've done that as well, where the event started and then the login started the next day.
There will be a post with all event dates and player run events, as well as the Discord event. Login Words will begin June 25th. Bomber is willing it.
They will. Yes, they will. Well, Vommer does know. They do have secrets. And they keep their secrets.
Secrets? Worlds? Legends?
Everything's true. Everything is true. But all right. Unless there's anything more, do we have any more news? Are we good? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably good. I mean, dude, I gotta
Wait,
get up. I gotta get up at like 6:30, which is just stupid.
I'm doing that tomorrow and Sunday, so I feel you.
That's a stupid time.
It's a stupid time. Well, normally my wife would get up with my older kid to get him ready for school, but it's donut day at the bakery.
Oh,
so
okay.
Okay.
She's gonna be up even earlier and gone by then, so I get to do it.
Well, at least
so
you
the
get a
person that
donut.
normally goes, I do not get a donut. The person that normally, the person that normally goes to bed at 2 a.m. is now having to get up at 6, which is not great.
I feel that.
Add in not getting a donut for this work? No.
However, I will be streaming this as soon as I'm conscious and the kids are at school in the morning.
Okay, so I would say not too much later. Couple hours maybe.
For what?
After you get up.
Oh yeah. A couple hours. I think
hours.
I'll probably be
Not too
streaming by 9
Yeah.
a.m. EST. I should probably be streaming somewhere around there. Maybe 9:30. I might have a bagel first or something.
But not a donut. That'd be cheating.
But not a donut. Well, she'll be making the donuts.
That's right.
They won't be here. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's what I mean. You can't just go out and like buy a donut just to have a donut. No, it's wrong.
It truly is, and I'm glad that you see that.
That's right. Yeah.
Holy God, dude! I've been streaming like 13 hours today. By the time I'm done here.
Nice. Say, well, all right. Agents, this has been the 0 Point Report, strain 102-DAR. You can catch us recording live Thursday nights, the 1st or the 3rd. That's generally how we roll now. when we can around 9 p.m. Eastern time here on the 0 Point Report Twitch channel, where you can also join us and chat with us while we do the show live, or download our show wherever podcasts are found so you can listen to us on the go. Jimmy, where can we find you online?
JimmyTheRabbit.com.
I feel like there should be like a jingle attached to that.
It should, yeah.
Like JimmyTheRabbit.com.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. You got it.
Yeah. Two-Ton Waffle, where can we find you?
You can find all of my links at twotonwaffle.me.
.me?
Oh.
You decided to go out of country?
Yeah,
Fancy
Tanzania account.
you can get it all a little fancy like. So all
Okay.
my links are all there.
Yes, we're all waffles. That is a secret, really.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those of us in the United States, because if you go up to the upper left corner of the U.S., that's Washington, that's WA, and if you go down to the bottom, like the southeast corner of the United States, that's Florida, that's FL, and if you combine them together, that's WAFL. It's waffle.
What the fuck is
It
wrong
was
with you?
strung that all together.
Jesus Christ.
So we're all waffle. That's
Yep. All the way down.
it's just waffles as we go. And I'm Ocho. You can find me on Twitch, Blue Sky. That's pretty much where I hang out. All links at linktree/BigMikeyOcho. You can get in touch with us by engaging with the show on X at 0 Point Report or Blue Sky at also 0 Point Report, I think. I forget what that is off the top of my head. Checking out previous shows on our YouTube channel and joining us on our Discord server, both named the 0 Point Report. So from all of us here at the 0 Point Report, we want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all the best from the secret world. Have fun with all your sand in Dune, and we will catch you next time. Peace out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.